In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a Starbella ruffled scarf using their new lace yarn. And this is the scarf here. And in the video, I show you how to pick up 6 loops at a time. And this is what it looks like with 6 loops. And then when I was making the scarf, I'm worried that if you do 6 loops at a time that you will run out and not have enough in one skein to make one scarf. So I would recommend only picking up 5 loops. And in the video I'm going to show you how to pick up 6 loops. But instead I think it's a better idea to pick up 5 loops. And right here in this section is where I picked up 5 loops, and it's still very roughly. And every time you pick up your loops and take them off the hook, you need to go like this with this yarn to get this to, you know, fan out and be roughly. And right here is what it would look like with 4 loops. I was just experimenting when I was making the scarf. So you can experiment, and so following, I'm going to show you how to make this scarf, and these are the 12 colors that you see here that are available at maggiescrochet.com to make this scarf. Enjoy the video. For this project, I'm going to use the Starbella Lace Ruffling yarn, and I'm going to use an F hook. There's a D hook that's recommended on the label, but this doesn't really have a gauge, so as long as you use a smaller hook, that's what matters. And the hook that I'm using is available at maggiescrochet.com, and I love this hook, especially for the ruffled scarves, because it has a really deep cut on the head of the hook, and that helps to hold the loops on, and you'll see why that's important in 1 minute. So to start, this is a pull skein, so I pulled this out from the center, and I'm going to open up my strand here, and I am going to fold over like the first 3 squares over the next 3 squares. So these 3 will be folded over the next 3 right here like that. And then I'm going to insert my hook from front to back in the first 2 squares, and then I'm going to go in the next one like that, and in the next one. And now I'm working on the individual squares. So I'm going to skip 2 squares and pick up the next one, and then skip 2 squares again and pick up the next one, and pick up 2 again. And then the very last loop that I pick up is the one that I'm going to hold down into the head of the hook like that. And I'm going to put my finger right here between that last loop I picked up and the rest of the loops. So my index finger will be on this side of it, and then I'm going to grab the other side of it with my thumb like this. And then I'm going to squeeze those together, and I'm going to turn the head of my hook down like that. And I'm going to pull that through the loops on the hook like that. So this is that very last loop that I picked up. So now I have a little bit of a ruffle starting. So now you always have to keep unwinding this. And I'm going to skip 2, pick up 1. And I'm also spreading this out as I go. And one of the tips on the label, or the tip on the label, is to iron this out on a low setting the whole length of the yarn until to make it fluffier. But you could just spread it out, and I'm going to skip 2, go in the next one, skip 2, go in the next one, skip 2, go in the next one, skip 2, go in the next one. And now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I've picked up 5 new loops. And I don't really know how this is going to go yet, like how roughly I want it. But I'm going to pick up a couple more. So I'm going to skip these, pick up this. So now I picked up 6 new ones. and I'm going to go ahead and have that be the last one. I'm going to hold that down into the head of the hook like that. I'm going to put my index finger here. I'm going to grab the other side of the remaining loops with my thumb. So I've pinched these two together here. And I'm going to take the head of my hook and turn it down and bring that loop through the remaining loops on my hook like that. So there's the second ruffle. And then I'm going to skip 2, go on the third one, skip 2. You can experiment with this and go in every single one, but when you go in every one, it's going to be skinnier. It's going to be like this wide. And by skipping, you make it wider. You could go in every other one. You could go in every fourth one. Just have fun and experiment. And typically, crocheters do like to experiment with stuff. So okay, so I have 2, 4, 5 new ones I picked up. And look how twisted this is getting here. So sometimes you can take your yarn and roll it either towards you or away from you. I usually have to figure out which way it's going to unwind that. And then I'm flipping it like this to get it to unwind. And that's doing the trick. I'm winding it towards me. Sometimes you have to roll it away from you to get it to straighten out. So now it's straighter. So I have 2, 4, 5, 6. I picked up 5 new, so I'm going to pick up one more loop. Okay, that stays on my hook right there. I put my index finger there. I put my thumb on the other side of the remaining loops. I turn the head of my hook down and pull that through the remaining loops on my hook, like that. And then I just keep going until this gets really long. You see how cute it is. So I'm going to do this one more time. You spread these out. I'm going from front to back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm going to keep that last loop on my hook, put my index finger in here, my thumb on the other side. I'm going to turn the head of the hook down and bring that through the remaining loops on my hook. Now here I pulled through 2 loops, so an extra loop came through. So to figure out which loop needs to stay on the hook and which needs to come off of the hook, I will show you how to do that. So if I pull right here, I can see that it's pulling that top loop right there. So that's the loop that needs to stay on my hook. And then this loop here needs to go over that loop and come off like that. Okay, now another little tip. If you need to set this down and go cook dinner or something, all you have to do is get these stitch markers, and these are available at maggiescrochet.com, and you just put a stitch marker on there, and then you don't have to worry about this unraveling, because it will unravel really quick. So another thing you could use these for is that while you're working, you can lock your stitch there, go on and pick up your next 6 new loops, and then move that stitch marker up. I'll show you real quick. 1, 2, 3. I'll just pull off 3 for now. Let's say you went on to your next one. You could have that one in place to lock that stitch so it doesn't unravel. Especially when you're beginning, it might be a good idea. And then I'm going to pull through the remaining loops on my hook. And I've got this one locked, and I could work with 2 of these stitch markers. And let's say I wanted to mark this one. Then when I go on to the next one, okay, let's say I was pulling off my next set like this. I could take this one out because this one's already secured by that one. I could take this out and just keep moving these up every other one. So also at the end, what you want to do is you want to, when you're at the very end of your scarf, you want to take this about 3 inches out right here and just cut the whole strand of yarn like that. I do have better scissors, I just haven't got them out to start using them. Okay, so you may have to put this loop on a larger hook to do this, but I'm going to try to do it with this smaller hook. So you take the entire strand, this is the very last loop, you're down to the end of your scarf, and you take the whole strand of yarn and yarn over with it, and then pull the last loop through the, pull the strand through the last loop that's on your hook. This is going to be kind of hard here. Alright. I'm going to switch to a bigger hook because I've got a bunch here. Alright. Let me switch to this hook right here. This is a tulip Edamo hook, but I don't like using these for the ruffled scarves because you've got this stop here. So it's better to have a hook that doesn't have, that's got the full length of the hook available. Okay, so I've got a larger hook here. I'm gonna yarn over with the strand and I'm gonna pull that strand through the last loop on my hook like that. So that should be enough to lock it right there, but you may want to find this loop right here like that and then send it through that. Or if you want to, you could like hold this as a loop at the end and then bring that through there and make a knot. Like knot around that those last skipped boxes. Okay, so you can make a knot like this at the end. And then the ruffles will come down. There, you'll have more ruffles than what I have here. But you want to trim this a little bit. You don't want to trim it too short, but maybe trim it like that. And then the ruffles at the end will cover that up. So that's how you do, how you create a scarf using the Starbella lace yarn, and the yarn, the stitch markers, and the hook that I used are all available at maggiescrochet.com. And I hope you join us on Facebook, which is Maggie's Crochet, and visit our website. Thank you very much for watching.